Hello, everyone. This is Sonia of the Consortium of Christian Business Women, and you're tuned in today to Kingdom Business. I wanted to talk today about reinventing your business in a pandemic. This is a time that's very, very uncomfortable and stressful for businesses. And many businesses did not have a plan in place because this was an unexpected situation. And so it's causing some organizations to go out of business because they weren't prepared, and not only to lose customers, but they weren't prepared to pivot if they could not do business the usual way. You have businesses that maybe they're not able to have customers come to the store, but they have an online presence. So as a result, they're able to still get revenue in because they're selling products online. You have restaurants that they may not be able to seat customers in their restaurant, but they have a delivery service in place to where they can have people get their meals delivered or do curbside pickup. And so there's restaurants and organizations that are doing good, or maybe not doing great, but they're not totally going under during this pandemic. And then there's organizations that are going under because, understandably so, they were not prepared for something like this. And as a result, they did not, because they didn't foresee it, they just weren't prepared, and they didn't have other things in place that they could do that would help them at least ride this time out to hopefully get to the other side of the pandemic. And so today I want to talk about some things that I think, could be helpful for a business that may be in this type of situation, and they weren't prepared to pivot when this pandemic hit. One of the things that I think could be helpful, depending on the type of business that you're in, if you're not an essential worker, it's very important that you have an online presence. You really want to have a way that customers could possibly order things online, pick up things, curbside. Like I said, even products can be picked up curbside, because even if someone will order a product online that they may see, the option could be made available for them to come pick it up curbside, as opposed to coming in the store or just whatever. Because one thing about this pandemic is things are changing day to day. And as a result, you're not necessarily sure what's going to be the rules in place, let's say next week. Like currently in Cleveland, we have a mandatory mask that's required to be worn out in public in spaces where there's, crowds of people. And so as a result, that's a new thing that has taken place. Like I said, next week, there may be some more added rules. So as a business, you want to at least have some things in place to where if everything gets totally shut down again, you have some options. And I believe that having an online presence is very important. Like I said, it gives customers an opportunity to see what you offer. If delivery is an option for you, that gives you, access and ways to make money. If pickup is an option, curbside pickup or whatever, that gives you a way to make money. It's just important that you have, I believe, a online presence during this time, because you want to put yourself in position to where you can still make money and still have customer engagement during this time. Another thing that I think is important is to have options to where you can interact with people, such as Zoom or FaceTime or other things like that, because you need to be able to have meetings with your staff. You need to be able to connect with customers if necessary in that type of way. But you want to be able to interact with people, and I think it's a good idea to do it. Not just over the phone or via text or something like that, but you want to have like opportunities where you can do face-to-face interactions with people. And I think this is a very good idea when it comes down to staff, because you want to keep everybody abreast of what's going on as far as if the organization is going to open back up, if it's going to close down, if you may need staff members to come in and deliver things, maybe, if possible, if they're willing to transition from maybe a person that was working inside the store to now a delivery person. You want to be able to have that consistent interaction with staff, and I think a good way to do it is via those types of things like Zoom, for example, because it just keeps everybody on the same page. It lets everybody know what the next plan is, what the next goal is, and like I said, even if you're going to shut down, I think it's important to tell the staff members. And just keep everybody up to date as to what's going on, what the plan is, and where you're trying to go from that point. Because if you're changing up the business model, not necessarily what you're selling or anything like that, but because of this particular unique situation with this pandemic, you may have to change up how business is ran. And so as a result, everyone needs to be on the same page. You want to have emails to where you can send out emails, for everybody in your staff to have all the same information. It's just very important, like I said, for everybody to be on the same page as far as what are we doing, how, if we do pivot, can those people help out in that area? And you want everyone to understand where you're going, because it can be, it is difficult for people that are not getting a paycheck on a regular basis. And maybe this will give them an opportunity to get a paycheck just by working in a different capacity. So we're going to take a break, and I'll be back on the other side talking about how businesses can reinvent themselves at this time during this pandemic. The Comforter Home Care Services provides in-home personal assistance to senior citizens and individuals with developmental disabilities. We offer light housework, personal care, medication reminders, laundry services, meal preparation, and more. Contact us today at 216-288-2800. Again, that's 216-288-2800. And we're back, continuing the conversation about reinventing yourself, reinventing your business during a time of crisis, and in this case, during the pandemic. Another thing that I think is important is that you revisit your business plan and you see if there's some things that maybe you can adjust, that you can continue business, but maybe in an altered way. So there may be some things on your business plan that you may not be able to do right now. And as a result, you change those things up and you start, you may add some things that at this time would be more beneficial to your business, as opposed to doing the things that you had been doing that had worked previously to this time. And so as a result, I think it's important that you go revisit your business plan. You look to see what things you can use right now that maybe you hadn't done. Because oftentimes when we write out a business plan, we have all these ideas, we're brainstorming, we're putting all these ideas, we're narrowing things down. But some things we don't necessarily use, even though we put it on our business plan. So you may want to revisit your business plan and see, is there some things that you have on there that you may be able to use now that you haven't used, or maybe there's some things that you can't do right now. Or you may want to add some new things that you hadn't added to your business plan because right now those things would be useful. So I think it's a good idea, like I said, to revisit your business plan just to see how can you adjust some things. Some things that maybe you had decided that you were going to do it a certain way. Like I saw a person one time during this pandemic. They had their own barbershop, and at one point in Ohio, the barbershops and hair salons and everything were shut down. And so what this person did was they went to this person's house and they did a person's hair on the front porch during the pandemic time. So they adjusted. They did not, they didn't do it in their usual way, but they made adjustments to where they were able still to get the business, but they were safe, as far as the process of going about doing the haircuts or whatever. So, like I said, I think it's a good idea to revisit your business plan. Also, I think it's a good idea to reach out to business counselors. You may not be able to come up with ideas. Maybe even if let's say you can't go to a counselor, but you know someone that's an entrepreneur, and maybe you two would like to get together and brainstorm with one another, that you can both help each other out, coming up with various ideas as to how can I get through this pandemic, with some new, inventive, creative ideas, because it's very important that you're able to adjust in this time and season, because there's so many businesses that are closing down, businesses that have been up and running for years, but just this couple of months of not being able to get customers in, they have not been able to survive this pandemic. And so it's very important, I believe, to come up with some creative ideas. And if you can't do it on your own, that you reach out to your network. You all can have a Zoom meeting to where you just brainstorm. What can we do? What's some ideas that you have? What's some thoughts that you have that maybe would be useful to help continue the business as this process, because this thing could last for the rest of the year. And many times entrepreneurs are not prepared to not be in business for an extended period of time. It's important to have savings, but not everybody has savings. And a lot of people's savings are going towards their personal expenses as opposed to their business expenses. So it's very important that you're able to come up with other unique ways. And like I said, if you can't think of these ideas on your own, or maybe you can, but you just want to expand beyond your own thinking, reach out to your network, your other entrepreneurs that you know, because more than likely they're going through the same thing that you're going through. And help each other come up with ideas that, that can maybe can help you get through this phase, other ways to make money, other ways to get in customers. Maybe things are cheaper. Maybe you can barter with each other to where you have a business that offers something and they have a business that offers something you need, and you can exchange those things without, paying money for them, but just exchanging products or services. So it's just the creativity, I think, that at this time that's needed for people to be able to get over this particular hump. And I'll be back after this talking about reinventing yourself, your business during a pandemic.
Cinema Music Mood is a music production service that provides music for films, commercials, musicals, TV shows, and so much more. If you would like these services, please call the phone number 216-255-7619. Again, the number is 216-255-7619. Or you can email us at cinemusicmood@gmail.com. Again, you can email us at cinemusicmood@gmail.com. Thank you.
And we're back, continuing the conversation about reinventing your business during a pandemic. Another thing that's possible to do at this time, depending on your access, is borrowing money. Maybe you have family or friends or that you can reach out to, or financial institutions that may be willing. I'm not really sure how comfortable financial institutions are with loaning money at this time, but it doesn't hurt to try. Because if you're in a place where you just cannot open back up, but you have expenses that still need to be paid, it's important that you have access to capital, access to money. And if you've been in business for a while and you've been trustworthy, people that know you personally, if they have extra, may be willing to help. And I think it's important to really put your pride aside, because, it can be difficult to ask for things, especially money, from people, because we don't necessarily want everybody to know our business or just whatever. But it's important to put your pride aside, because at the end of the day, if you need it, you need it. I'm not sure, money can only go so far. So during this pandemic, not being sure when it's going to be over with, is not necessarily saying that the money will last for that period of time, but maybe it can get you through to the next stage and the next phase of your business. For example, it may help you build a website to transition to a new area that you never participated in before. It may help you do some things that you didn't do. It may help you pay for a business consultant, for example, to where they can tell you some new ideas and some things that you've never thought of before. So I think it is important, if you have access to capital, that you reach out to people that can help you in that area. Because like I said, that money can be used to help you reinvent yourself and find new, unique ways to do business. Maybe you may need to add something that you didn't have, and I mean product-wise or service-wise, like during this time, or if you're at a restaurant, food-wise. Or, for example, if you don't have a delivery service, you may need to add that. So you may need money to purchase a delivery vehicle. So that's one of the things, and that's the important thing about overlooking your business plan again, because you want to know if you can borrow money, what do you need that money for? You don't want to waste it, obviously. So you need to have an idea of what would I use this money for if I did get maybe $10,000, 20 or 30 or maybe even 50 or more $1,000. What would I use this money for? And then go about attempting to get the specific amount that you need to be able to do the thing that you're trying to do to help you get over that hump. Maybe you need a van for whatever. Maybe you have a flower service where you weren't delivering flowers, but now during this time you want to be able to deliver flowers. So you need a van to be able to do that. So it's just you want to come up with some different things that you may need. Let's say, for example, you're used to cleaning people's homes on the inside, and now you decide that you're going to transition to cleaning the outside of people's homes, whether landscape or maybe cleaning out somebody's garage or just something to where you can still make money during this time, but you need capital to be able to purchase products or whatever. So you want to be able to borrow money from, different entities if it's something that's available to you. And another thing, or finally, something that I thought about is you may just have to close for this period of time. If things are not working, especially if you're steady getting expenses, because if you're paying rent somewhere, if you're paying, electricity and all those other utilities somewhere, you're steady paying money, but you're not receiving any revenue. And so you may have to close at this time to be able to start back up when this process is over with and not, totally go under. Those are types of things that you want to keep in mind, you want to think about, you want to consider if this is what you need to do right now. And it's important to be honest with yourself, because I know as an entrepreneur, when you've had this dream and this idea, it can be difficult to let go. But if you look at it from a temporary perspective, it just is what it is. This is what I have to do right now. It's nothing that I could help. I couldn't do anything about it. And so right now I'm just going to close because this is the thing that I can do. And I'll re-examine or reassess the situation at a later date to see if another option is available to me. And so I'll be back on the other side of this break. The Comforter Home Care Services provides in-home personal assistance to senior citizens and individuals with developmental disabilities. We offer light housework, personal care, medication reminders, laundry services, meal preparation, and more. Contact us today at 216-288-2800. Again, that's 216-288-2800. Today I want to read from Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your path. And I want to say today, as an entrepreneur, as a Christian, it is so important that during this time, during this uncertain time, during this time of pandemic and crisis, that you lean on God, that you lean on his word, that no matter what happens, no matter the end result, that you have a confidence that he's going to see you through, this situation, this circumstance, because it can be difficult in uncertainty. It can be difficult to not know what's going to happen next. And as a result, fear kicks in, doubt kicks in, uncertainty kicks in to a point where you can be paralyzed if you allow it to happen. But I want to encourage you to lean on God. Lean on His Word. If there's something that you don't know, seek Him. He will bring people in your way. And even if the answer is to close for this season in this time in your life, it's still all good. Because as long as He's led you this way and fear hasn't led you this way, or doubt or unbelief, as long as He's led you this way, that's all that matters. It still all works together for your good. And so, like I said, I want to encourage you. Seek God, pray, find out what He says concerning your business, and go forward with confidence, knowing that He has your back in every situation. So I want to thank you all for tuning in this week. I hope that this message has been a blessing to you. And I want to encourage you to tune in again this time next week on this station. Have a great week.